2008 Saturn Aura, A-U-R-A, 19 millimeter. Takes these little beautiful covers off. Get that off. And then this is all 19 millimeter, left to loosen, right to tighten. So we're gonna go left to loosen, break these down, break these loose on the ground, then go ahead and jack up the carb. And use safety jacks, use what you need to protect yourself so it doesn't fall on you. We'll jack this up and we'll take these off. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. I have an air gun, I'll be using an air gun. You can just use your tools that you have, or you can use what you would use for your spare tire, which is probably stuff in the trunk, and you can take it loose that way. You have a jack, hopefully, and everything you need in the trunk to get this tire off and put it back on. Then you may or may not see these little clips on your brake studs right here, and I just use a side cutters and kind of work them off. You can certainly take your time and use a screwdriver and turn them back off, and then you can maybe turn them back on if you want. But I just usually take them off there for the factory, so stuff doesn't fall off when it's coming down the assembly line. So we can get in here now and put a screwdriver in here, and we'll collapse the piston. There's a piston in here. We're gonna push it back. That's a good way to check to see if these slides are working as well. And it is slowly moving. Push it back a little bit. Get some space between the brake pad and the brake rotor, the inner brake pad, and continue collapsing it. Get a flashlight so you can see in there. So we just got our screwdriver in there and we pry down things and got it to slide over, and we can check to see how easy things move. Look at that, that's doggone. That is doggone nice and smooth. Our slides are good. We'll probably still lubricate them a little bit. Then I just got to take the brake pads off, brake caliper off. 14 millimeter bolts. 2 of them pulled in place. And just take a note how it's got a little ledge here that this can sit on when you're putting it back together. For the top and for the bottom, there's that little ledge. So there's our piston collapsed all the way back. See that boot is torn a little bit. Don't see any leaks though. Again, you can check these. If you have some lubricant available for brake calipers, and you might want to use a little bit on that anyway, even though it slides free. And take their pads out of their position. And that's all there is to that. This might be 15 millimeter for the caliper mounting too, so you can get the rotor off to be machined or replaced. Showing you a little close-up of new brake pads in the caliper and how they look. Got new metal pieces in the kit that I use for brakes. Put those on, put some grease on these. Looks like maybe someone didn't line this up properly, like we talked about, where it's got that little notch where it needs to sit. We'll just slap these on. And keep an eye out on making sure these are in the right spot, like we talked about. So we dropped this on. Of course, I'm working on the other side, but there you go. So you got the caliper supported nicely, so we don't put any stress on the hose. People like that. And we can just drop that on, and of course, like we just talked about, watch out how these line up. So I'm gonna release my, whoa, careful. I'm gonna release this and slide it on. If you have a large C-clamp, You can also collapse the piston, or if you have a large channel locks, and it is a good idea to use the old pad and stick it in here while you're collapsing that. But it's collapsed. We did it with the screwdriver. We can lay it on here. We need to just push these back a little bit to get it to fall into place. There we go. Boom, like that. Bolt it in. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Lug nuts are 100 foot-pounds if you're doing that. Gotta go.
Do my way or go home.
There's your brake fluid container and the lid. Take it off there like that. Got a minimum and maximum labeled over here, and we're just right about the maximum. Used a clean, lint-free rag and took some out because after collapsing the pistons, it was over. So you can either add or subtract as needed to get to the full mark right there, and then pump. First, you should pump the brake pedal probably 5, 6, 7 times until it's pumped up to where it should be. Because collapsing the pistons will make it low, so you don't want to drive it until you've collapsed the pistons 5 to 7 times, or collapse the brake pedal 5 to 7 times. Then you can top that off or take some out as needed.